Welcome to the 4th edition of the Woodshop Update. If you watched last week's update, we had a punch list of 5 things that needed to be done before we can start installing the tin ceiling in here. Now the punch list is down to 2 things, and I'm going to show you the 3 things I got done this week. The first thing was installing these attic lights. These lights here are temporary and they're going to end up in the garage area. So I need some form of permanent light up in the attic, because once the tin ceiling goes up, I'm not going to have any light up there, and it's going to be really hard to bring light up there when I got to get up there to blow in the insulation, or in the possible case that something goes wrong. There's not a lot of stuff that can go wrong up there, but I do have a water line running through it, a propane line, and this big heavy electric line that I just ran this week, which is the second thing I got done this week. This is a 2224 service entrance cable, and once I get the plywood wall in place, I'll have an 1.25 inch conduit going up and through the ceiling, and this will come down through that conduit into the box, which is going to be screwed onto that wooden wall. We're also going to put conduit here coming up to the box, but I think I mentioned that in a previous video. You can see that the wire goes up and over. It goes over to this bracing right here. It follows on top of the bracing. You can see it turning the corner right there. And it runs along the top of the truss there over to here. Again, once the ceiling's in, I'm going to have a hole going through the ceiling, and that wire is going to come down and to the sub panel right here. I'll explain a lot more about that in future videos, but it is a real good idea to have a sub panel if you have this much distance between outlets where you're going to have heavy machinery. And the last thing I did was plug up the ends of the water line. You could see the end right there. Did the same thing out in front, and I put a temporary connection on this end here. This is zone, what did I call it? It's either A or B, but this zone is going to be turned off during the winter because where it runs is going to be frozen the entire time. The second zone will be able to be shut off when needed, but that zone will work independently of the other zone. Again, it's kind of complicated, but I'll explain it all on Planet Mojo, and I will link the videos from the community center of this channel. But briefly, this is how the manifold is going to be on that hydrant over there. This is going to hook up to the hydrant right here, and then it'll have one of the zones coming off here, one of the zones coming off here, and I'll have the ability to have either or both of them open at any time and drain either or both of them at any time. Well, actually, you wouldn't be able to have that upper zone working with the other zone not working, but you would never want to do that anyways. The whole thing is self-draining, and that was tested as well, and that works. Oh, I did the testing of the propane lines as well. Where is that? Right here. There are no leaks except for at the gauge. I'm just going to finish those lines because the propane guys, when they install the regulator over there, they're going to test the lines as well. So they'll be the final test. So what I need to do is just get this all connected in its final form, put the tape on it and all that stuff, have it ready, and cap off that end so they can test it. I need to put the ceiling on around that, then put that on. Again, that's all on Planet Mojo, and you can see it if you wish, but we're getting real close to wrapping up now. Today, I'm going to get this big mess cleaned up and get everything staged to cut the lumber. I'll show you the results of that before I sign off. But this coming week, we're going to get a partition wall in right here, and get the joists up in the ceiling. It's a huge task, but once this is cleaned up, it shouldn't be that hard to do.